Hi everyone, welcome back to the session. My name is so let's talk about why filtering functions in Excel is so powerful. So unlike the regular filter, functions like filter or sort, they automatically update when your data changes. So no need to reapply filters manually. And you can create very specific conditions to filter data, like you combining multiple criteria, so it is customizable. And the functions don't alter your original data, so they only display the filtered results, so your raw data stay safe. You can combine the filtering with other functions, you can nest them, you can combine the unique and the sort together, you can combine different functions, type of functions that you want to combine, so that you'll be able to analyze your data in a way the regular filters and can't. So they are highly efficient. So once you set up a filter function, you can reuse it across different data sets or sheets. So it will save you time in the long run. So filtering with functions make your work faster. It makes it flexible, and you would actually work smart. So today we'll be looking at different functions that we are going to nest together to actually come up with a dynamic filtering function. So today we'll be using the likes of the filter, sort, match, the if error, and the if. And we would also be looking at some other functions like the formula text to display the formula that we've inputted. So what we'll be doing today, we are going to come up with something like this. All we want to do is to filter a HR data in such a way that one will select the department, then our data should automatically be filtered based on the department that is selected. We also want to look at how we can filter these based on the different fields that we have. So you might send out this data and someone might say, okay, I want to sort this data based on the employee name. I want it to be in the ascending order, or I want it to be in a descending order. So this is what we will be trying to do. We don't want to go to our data to say we want to manually filter our data. Then we say we come to the department, then you select the department that you want. Then no, this is not what we want. We want a dynamic filter. So let's go straight to the point. So we have our data. This is our data set, and we already have our dynamic filtering templates that we've already formatted. So we have nothing here. We are going to do everything from the start. So what the first thing we would try to do is we would try to format this our data set as a table. So the shortcut for converting to a table is a Control T. Then we hit OK. It is smart enough to recognize that my data set has headers. So I'll try to change the design. So I'm using this design. Good. Now I'll try to rename my table. So let's name this HR dataset. So we are using table so that when this data set is updated, so we don't need to bother ourselves. We already know the table captures it. So the first thing we'll be doing here is let's try to add a new sheet. Then let's rename this as our drop down. So this is our drop down. So what do we want to use this drop down to do? we actually want to bring out the unique departments in our drop down. So let me call this department. Then I'm saying equals unique. So this should bring out the unique departments from me. So we've selected this. You can see it's recognized that this is a table. Then I hit my enter. So these are the unique departments that we have. Let's also try to sort this. So I'm wrapping this up with sort. So this has been sorted. So we'll be using this as our drop down in our dynamic filter. So let's go to our dynamic filter. So this is our department. Then we'll use this as a drop down. We come to our data, then the drop down. Here we want to make use of list. Then we go to our source data. So this is a drop down. So if I select this and I select OK, this would have all the list of the departments that we have. But we need to make this dynamic. So we want this in such a way that when our data is updated, when this data is updated, then our drop down also will update. But because the range I was selected is from C2 down to C22, so the new data won't be captured. So what do we need to do? We need to make our data validation to understand that this is a spilled array. So we just need to include our hash. So let's go back to our data validation. Then let's say we are using list. Then I'm saying I'm selecting only the first cell. Then I'm joining it with hash. So this will recognize that this is a spilled array. So if this department is updated, then our drop down also will be updated. So I'm clicking on OK. So now we have our list of departments. So the next is let's try to look at what we want to bring out. So we want to bring this out from our staff ID down to the compensation. So we are copying these, then we are pasting it here as values. So these have been pasted. So now let's try to make use of our filter function. So we are saying equals filter. So what do I want to filter? I want to filter from my staff ID down to the compensation. So I move down to my data. I'm saying filter my staff ID down to the compensation. I hit my comma, then to include where my department equals what I have here on my department. So when I click enter, you can see this is filtered based on the department that I have. So if I select another department, then you can see this is now making sense. This is the dynamic. So the next thing we want to do is we want to categorize them. So we might say we want to sort these based on the employee name or based on the present location. So what we will try to do here is let's try to do our data validation here also. I come here, data validation. So we want to use lists. So what's my list? I'm saying this is my list. Then I okay this. So I already have my list here. So I want to sort this by my employee name, or I want to sort this by my present location. That is what I'm trying to do. Then I wrap my filter function with sort. Then the sort would request for an array. So since we've already given sort an array, then we hit our comma. Then it is asking us sort index. So the sort index means what particular index number do you want to sort by. So if I input 1, so it means it is sorting by my staff ID. If I input 2, it means it is sorting by my employee name. But I don't want to manually input this. I have a function that can give me the position of any value I've rendered for it. So here I'm trying to use match because I know match would return the particular column number or the particular um, number a particular value falls under. You can also try to use X match, but in this case, I would use match. So, what is my lookup value? I'm saying my employee name is my lookup value. Then look it up here on this array. Then I hit my comma. I want you to give me the exact match. Then I close my parentheses for my match. So match would exactly tell me, oh, this is on column 2. Now, comma, the next argument is my sorting order. Do I want it to be ascending or descending? Then I can say I want it to be ascending. Then I can close my parentheses. So this is sorted. So now I have this working fine. So let's say we want to sort it by status. So you can see it is sorted by status. So here, the only thing this is giving us is it is sorting it in ascending order. How do we now decide that we want to sort you in a descending order? We want this to be dynamic. So I'm saying instead of me hard coding this with 1, I want it to be smart enough to say if it is ascending, give me 1. If it is descending, give me the -1. So I'm saying no, I want to hard code you with, let me try to escape this. Let's try to put a drop down here. Let's give this a drop down to say I want you to data validation. I want you to have a list. Then my list should be ascending. It should be ascending and descending. Ascending and descending. Good. So here we have ascending and we have descending. So here what we would want to do is when this is on ascending, then we want this to show us 1. And when it is descending, then it will show -1. Because what we have here is just 1. That's just only ascending. We want this to be flexible. So I can say since I have my if that can do that for me, you can also try to use switch. If would request for your logical test. So I'll say if this is equals ascending, then it should give me 1. Otherwise, it should give me -1. So if I select my descending, so if you look at our status, since it's descending, you can see it is sorting this on descending order. So let's try to look at this again. Let's try to select. So now this is working fine. So another thing we want to do is we want to know the total compensation for the department that is selected. And if you look at this, what we have been trying to do is an array. So how can we use the sum function to capture an array? So we can wrap this up with our choose column with request for an array and an index number. So here I would say I'm saying equals to my sum. So my sum is requesting for the numbers, but I would say no, I want to hard code you in an array. Choose column. Where is my array? This is my array. Then I hit my comma. Then what do I want to sum? I want to sum my compensation. So my compensation is on column 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't want to manually type 6. I want something that will count it for me that I want column 6. So I can say use my count A. I can use my count A. My count A will request for what I want to count. Then my count is done. Then I wrap this up with my sum. Good. So now we have